Good morning, everyone. Wanted to welcome you to the first episode of the Warranty Whisperer, episode 1. Our guest today is Jeff Jackson. He is the claims manager for Ascent Administration. And I'd like for Jeff, if you wouldn't mind, introduce yourself, give the audience here a little bit of background about what your background in as far as claims goes, but also in the service drive and how you got to where you are today, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. Good to see everybody. Meet everybody. My name is Jeff Jackson. I've been in the automotive industry for 28 years, basically my entire life. My uncle was a diesel mechanic. He started teaching me how to work on garbage trucks when I was 3 because he owned a business with garbage trucks. And so I got interested really young. By the time I was 15, I was sweeping shops. The owner of the Ford store, which I worked for, said, "Hey, would you like to learn how to work on cars?" And I said, "Sure." So he put me with a 4-year master tech who I apprenticed under, and long story short, I then shortly after became a master tech. I think I was 22 years old.
Wow.
So I worked for Ford for quite a few years, ended up getting an opportunity at a Chevy store with another guy that I knew. Worked there for a while, became a certified Chevy technician, and then from there I moved on to Dodge, became a Dodge certified technician, worked for the government for about 10 years. I was heavily involved with building police cars, fire trucks, upfitting them from regular vehicles to those types of vehicles, got emergency certified. Left there basically to make more money. The government doesn't pay very good, so I got the opportunity to be a service advisor, made a lot more money at a Ford store. Worked there for several years and then moved on to a Dodge store where the general manager from Ford took me to be the service manager. So I was there for a long time, worked a little bit in finance, so I understand the finance manager side of things. And then I moved over here with Rich to be the claims manager, which ended up working out really well because I always told him that a good claims manager or claims director would be somebody who understood the other side of the business, being the service side. So the store that I worked for as a service manager, I was a service manager in Las Vegas for about 3 years at a large superstore. We had a 25-car drive. So I worked there for a while, got a lot of experience, had a lot of employees underneath me, and just learned a lot from that side of the business, as well as all the warranty side and things like that. So here I am, and I do understand that side of things. So I try to make our process as easy as possible for service advisors, because I know what it's like to be sitting on hold with warranty companies, to have to process warranties. I know how difficult that could be. So I had the opportunity to build this program, so I built it from scratch with that in mind.
So as far as the processing of the warranties, that's something that we're going to definitely unpack here today as well. But based on your experience, based on your background, you understand the shoes that the people on this call are in today when they have an issue. When the customer brings in their car and says, "I have a warranty." "Well, ma'am, do you have a copy of that warranty?" "No, I don't." There's just so many things that go into their day before they even get to you. So you've been on that side, and so you understand, what their frustrations are, and you understand why they get frustrated as well. But let's talk a little bit about warranties in general and the types of warranties. We all know there's basically 3 types of warranties. There's exclusionary coverage, stated component, powertrain. They vary in length, vary in length of time, vary in length of miles. But primarily, those are the 3 types of warranties. Within that, do you believe that all warranties are created equal? Are all exclusionary warranties the same? Are all stated components the same?
So I don't, and the reason why is because I've had the opportunity to work with many warranty companies throughout the years and see their processes and see how they respond. That's just my general opinion. I've seen them all, right? It's a long time of working with warranty companies, progressing through warranty companies. I know who's good, I know who's bad, and most of that is a communication issue that I have found. Right. You never want to submit for a warranty claim and have to wait 3 days to get a response. You never want to feel like you're being ignored And you never want to feel like the process is difficult or hard to push through. It should be very simple, very easy, very intuitive, right? And so I would say that they're not all created the same. There's a lot of different things that can make the process easier. And our job, as far as this side of the process, is to make the adjuster's job easier, as well as to develop relationships with them so that they understand how this works. And in the future, it becomes easier and easier and easier.
In order to make your job easier, and it's a give and take. I think it works on both sides. The service advisor has to meet you somewhere in the middle, and you meet them somewhere in the middle. In order to get there, what is the basics that you need in order to adjudicate a claim? What are the three primary things that you need in order to go, well, I want to make a decision on this, but I need to know this, and this. What are those? What are you looking for?
Sure. So we need to know the basic details. If anyone works for an OE, they understand how that warranty process works. It's basically the same thing. We're not as aggressive. We don't require a recall of parts, but there are things that we do need, right? So we need to know the vehicle. We need to know the mileage. We need to make sure the contract's valid. We need to make sure that the repair is valid. We need to make sure that it was properly diagnosed. And we need all the details according to that. So we need the part numbers, the part prices, the labor times. And then once we have all of that detail and data, and it's a proven repair, we can go ahead and authorize it. Pretty simple from there.
So as a service advisor, if I paint you a picture and fill in the details for you, it's going to make it easier for you to tell what that finished product is supposed to look like, what it is that I'm actually asking. If I just draw 3 straight lines and you go, well, I don't know where you're going to go with this picture, but if I give you, what caused the failure, what the breakdown was, and here's the parts that are going to need in order to fix it, and here's what the cost of those, and here's what the cost of parts, cost of labor, and here's the warranty information. If I provide you with all that, how long does it take you in order to adjudicate a claim?
About 3 to 4 minutes, sometimes 5. It's usually pretty fast. We do have guys that have been in the business for a very long time that work for me. I don't hire order takers. I hire guys that understand and know the business very well. They have all been either technicians or automotive engineers. They understand vehicles. They understand the process of working on a vehicle, what it takes to work on a vehicle. And a lot of them have also been service advisors or service managers. So we have guys that understand the business.
I know there's a lot of guys in the service drive right now that are perking up on, wait, 3 or 4 minutes. That's impossible. I've never got an answer back in 3 or 4 minutes. But it goes back to providing you with the necessary information. The more complete of a picture that I can provide for you, the faster you're able to get an answer for me. With that said, are there some claims that kind of sit on the fence? You go, well, it could be, it couldn't be. Maybe we should send out a representative or a referee, someone from that. Tell me a little bit about that and how that works, and what determines whether you need to send somebody else out in order to go take a look at this a potential claim for approval, or the claim for a potential approval.
Yeah, sure. So it's perspective, right? So if you can see how we have to think about this, ultimately we need those people to be our feet on the ground to see things that we can't visually see. Sometimes repair shops do a fantastic job of submitting the proper photos and videos. In the year that we live in, there's lots of technology around us. Some repair shops have tablets that they give to their technicians, and they send us full walkarounds, and we can see everything that we need to see. But there's a lot of situations where some shops can't even send us a photo. In that case, we need someone to be our eyes and ears on the ground. So what we'll do is we'll send an inspector who's basically just a certified mechanic that knows what we're looking for in order to take the photos and the videos for us. Once he submits us that information, then we can adjudicate it. We do use his opinion, but we do not use what he says to adjudicate the claim, right? He is just our mobile eyes and ears on the ground. That's it.
So video evidence is important. How do I get that information to you? Are we still back to the old days of picking up a phone and dialing a rotary dial in order to get you the information? talk a little bit about how I get you the information in the first place and how I can upload information to you, whether it be videos, whether it be pictures, or whether it be PDFs. Tell me a little bit about how the claims process initiates for Ascent in particular.
Yeah, so I could say one thing that I hated the most about being a service advisor with a warranty claim was sitting on hold for 25 to 30 minutes. So I built a process that allows the advisor to go ahead and submit the claim online. It's more robust now than it has been, and it's going to continue to get better, right, as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, when you file the very first claim, you go online, you fill out the form, you file the claim. That's going to take you the longest, right? Because that's the first time you're ever putting in your shop information, your phone number, your email, all that stuff. Once that's done, you don't have to create a login to do that. You create that, you do that, then it's going to send you an email that says, hey, if you would like to have access to a dashboard, which most people really do, then follow these steps. So once all of that's done the very first time, you're going to be able to go back in the next time and the next time and the next time, and you're going to have access to a dashboard. And what that's going to do is it's going to show you every single stage of the claims process, from the time that you submit the claim to how many seconds and minutes it took us to get the information from you, whether that be a photo or video. You can upload it directly to your dashboard. So it's very, very cool. It's just drag and drop. Once we have that detail, it'll tell you how long it took, and then you're going to get an authorization. Once you have the authorization, you're going to do the repairs. You're going to upload a signed repair order from the customer, and we're going to submit a credit card directly to the dashboard. So the very first time is probably the longest, and that's because we need all your shop detail. It's basic stuff that every warranty needs. But after that, it locks it in.
Where do I find that? If let's say that I'm a one and done. New customer came in and this is the only contract that I've ever seen from, and again, there's different warranties or different administrators, but it's the first time and only time I've seen the Ascent. Where do I get that? Do I go to your website?
Yep.
And would that be across the board with most administrators that you're familiar with in the past or familiar with in the industry? Do you start with their website and kind of go, what is it they're looking for?
A lot of times if the customer doesn't have a copy of the contract, they'll have the phone number. If they don't have the phone number, you just have to be familiar with it or try to find it online.
Uh-huh.
Our site's pretty simple. You just go to our website. It says start a claim. You click the button and it takes you right through it.
And it takes you through the steps, right?
Yeah, very, very intuitive, super simple. You cannot mess it up. It walks you through everything that you need to do. If it's a short claim, it's super easy to put in because you're just putting in a part number, how much labor you want, and how much that part is, and you're pushing it through. Like I said, when you do it again, the best part is when you do it again, because when you do it again, then it remembers your shop. You never have to type in your repair shop address, phone number, you don't have to do any of that because it automatically stores and locks it into the system. And that's the goal, is to make it easier and easier and easier.
So for those repair facilities that are joining us here today, one of the advantages to promoting a warranty is to have the familiarity with that warranty and sell that warranty on a regular basis so that when their customers come back, they already know where they need to go, what the website is, what the upload information, where the dashboard is, in order to help their customers. So the familiarity with the administrator is very important in getting those claims paid, satisfied. Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely.
The other thing, so when we have or we're not able to upload or we have that question, is there a way to pick up the phone and give you a call? And generally, how long does that take? Is there a message center? Is there a way to get to someone and go, wait a minute, I think you guys maybe have overlooked something. I'd like to discuss this with you. Because sometimes, I'm old school. I love technology. That all works for me. But sometimes just that good old-fashioned phone call is important to communicate what it is that I'm seeing. And I can't put it into words. I can't put it into an upload, but I can talk to you about it. And is there a way that we can still give you a call in today's claims process?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we don't have an automation system. We don't have like a please hold it. You're going to get directed to this line, this line, and this line. We have dedicated people in claims that will take care of you. Typically, the way that it happens is you call in, you're going to get the receptionist, you're going to say you have a claim. They're going to send you to our claims coordinator. That's a person that's specifically built into the claims area that can direct the call to who the adjuster is. Then that person's going to get you to the adjuster. If it's a simple question, like what's covered or something very quick like that, she'll be able to answer that. But if it's something related to the claim that you require more detail, then yeah, she'll be able to get you to your adjuster very quickly and easily. Another thing that I just want to say is, when I was a service advisor, calling into a warranty company while you have a customer in front of you, while you're trying to write up a car, while you're trying to close out a ticket, while you're trying to talk to a technician, is virtually impossible. You can put people on hold, you can put the line down and come back to it. But the thing that makes our process so good is that you could be doing a warranty for us while talking to a customer standing in front of you at the service drive, and also be, typing something out on another screen and then go back and forth. You don't have to do it all at once. You could start it, save it, come back to it. You get interrupted. Okay, that's fine. Go back to it. Right. And so I think that's the biggest advantage. However, if you don't have access to that kind of resource at all, for some reason, you can absolutely call in and we'll take care of it. Just takes longer. That's all.
So if I get interrupted, which every service drive personnel gets interrupted multiple times throughout the day, I can start, stop. Versus when I'm on a phone call, starting and stopping is really not the option.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Technology just makes it easier for you. So now that I've uploaded all the information, I've told you what the causation of the problem was. I told you what the failure is. Here's the cost. Here's the cure. I've given you all the things that you need. You've adjudicated the claim. The referee came out or didn't come out. You've taken a look at the claim. Let's address one thing, and one question that many guys tend to want to ask is: are you in the business of trying to deny claims? And I know we've talked about this question before. And Jeff, are you guys in the business of just denying claims so that you can save the warranty money? Or tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I can promise you this: I don't make any commission from denying claims. So no, that is not relevant to me. What is relevant is just making sure that we're fairly assessing the claim. What we want to do is just make sure that the repair that you're doing is the correct repair, right? And that's not only advantageous to you guys, it's advantageous to the customer. We're just there to help and make sure that that's the case. Secondly, no, we want to make sure that we're following the terms of the contract, right? And so we just strictly follow the terms of the contract. If it's covered, we're going to cover it 100%. But if it's a non-covered component, sometimes, and this is the side of it that I think the service advisor doesn't see initially, and this might be helpful for, is sometimes the service advisor doesn't understand, like, okay, well, they're asking this question. Well, yeah, that's just because we want to make sure that it lines up with the terms of their contract. It's not because we're trying to deny it. We're just making sure that it falls in line. And there might be some caveats to that maybe as a technician, you wouldn't need to see, but we do. Right. And so it's not to make it harder or to add resistance. It's just we're trying to make sure that everything lines up so that we adjudicate the claim properly based on the contract detail. That's all it is.
So you just want to validate that the claim that they were submitting is a valid claim, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Validation and just making sure that if it's a component that has failed that is covered, that we're paying for. It's more about making sure that we are taking care of it than we're not taking care of it, right?
I agree. And in this industry, and I will say this, that I have known of administrators that have been offended by claims that weren't on the up and up, if you will. I'm not going to call them fraudulent claims because I wasn't a part of those claims, but we all know that there are sometimes some facilities that will submit a claim that is fraudulent, not really within what the warranty is in order to get that work done. And we've known those administrators that have basically gone out of business because they paid claims that they shouldn't have. And so it's not the fact that you're trying to deny the claims, you're trying to protect the integrity of the program as a whole so that those monies are there for the legitimate claims that are bound to come in by these customers having warranty. Agreed?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, there is fraud out there, unfortunately, but that's the way it is in every industry. There is fraud out there. We're not necessarily like we're trying to sniff it out or we're trying to, you know, make sure you're not a fraudulent company, but sometimes it's very apparent. Right. And like you said, we want to make sure that that money is going to legitimate claims so that these people are taken care of and that it's not going to the inappropriate claims that shouldn't be covered.
So moving on from there, I want to cover, I think 4 or 5 of the common myths about a service contract. And I'd like your feedback. The common myth, myth number 1, my service contract covers everything. What do you think about that? Do you think that all parts, all repairs are covered? And what's the reality of that question?
That's a great question. So I'm sure that most service advisors on this call have heard from a customer at some point in time that my salesman said that my vehicle is covered bumper to bumper. That's a very common thing that salesmen will use. And a lot of service advisors will go, no, that's not the case. And so it's the same thing with a factory warranty or any other type of warranty. There's always limits of liability, which means that there's things that we cover and there's things that we don't. If you have our highest level contract, which is our platinum contract, or exclusionary, which might be a more common term for people to understand, that's going to cover everything but maintenance items, the same as an OE would cover, right? So we're not going to cover belts, fluids, hoses, batteries, brakes, tires, things that wear are not going to be covered under that type of contract. Now, there's surcharges or add-ons that they can get to include certain things that normally wouldn't be covered. But it's very simple to just think of it like, what would the factory do? But there's also different levels that are lower levels that might cost the customer a lot less money, but they will still cover the big items. And some customers like that because they want the big ticket items covered. Yeah, so they want the big ticket items covered, right? And that's what's important to them because you have to look at it in this way. Can you afford a $5,000 repair on a whim, right? And so essentially it's, can I afford $5,000 to $10,000 to even more than that for an engine? No, but can I afford maybe a rack and pinion repair that's maybe $2,000? Yes. Okay, well then let's get the powertrain coverage and make sure that you're covered for the big ticket items. And so some people just want to do that. And there are cases where they think that they have coverage that they don't as well. But, you know, sometimes that's the case. They want to make sure that the big ticket items are taken care of.
Well, and that's the difference in our warranties and what we do here at Connex is that Connex, we only sell exclusionary coverage. We don't sell stated component. We don't sell powertrains. I don't even offer those. Don't even want them in our product mix. Yeah, they could be a little bit less expensive, but also the customer believes. The customers sometimes don't understand what it is that they purchase. We want to give them the maximum opportunity in order for that warranty to be effective. Does it exclude some vehicles? Yeah, it does. With cars over maybe 180, 200,000 miles, it's going to exclude some older cars, 2012 and older. It's going to exclude some vehicles, but primarily what we want to do is we want to make sure that by selling the exclusionary coverage, it kind of mirrors that factory warranty and offers them the best possible opportunity in order to have a claim covered. One of the other myths that you've already kind of touched on is I don't need one if I have a factory warranty. Tell me a little bit about why that's a myth. I don't need a service contract if I have with the factory warranty.
Yeah, sure. There's lots of times when things in service contracts will cover things that aren't covered under factory warranties. And so it's really important to understand the contract that you're buying. And it's really important to make sure that if you're buying like a aftermarket warranty, for example, on top of a factory warranty, a lot of the reason for that is because it wraps around the factory warranty. So anything that the factory doesn't cover, it's going to take care of. It's kind of like having dual health insurance, right? So you might have health insurance through your wife, and then you buy it for yourself from your work, and it's like, well, why do I need it? I got it through my wife. Well, because anything that your wife doesn't cover, it's going to pick up as a secondary, and it's very similar to that.
And that is called a wrap policy, kind of wraps around what the factory warranty has, and then carries on once that factory warranty expires, because most of them are going to expire in 3, 4, in some cases 5 years, and depending on the particular component that it's covering, may extend. Hyundai, for example, on their powertrain, but it does cover kind of a wrap type policy that kind of covers everything that once that the manufacturer's warranty expires. One of the final questions, because I told you we'd keep this here short and sweet, but I wanted to kind of talk to you about that. We're on the claims side of it. What's the average claim amount that you see coming through? Tell me a little bit about two things. Number one, how since 2020, how those claims have changed, parts and labor. Obviously, those prices are going to be going up. Those are going up. So kind of give us a historical perspective on parts and labor costs. Kind of give us a little bit of background what you see on an average claim to be.
Yeah, an average claim, it really depends. It's really tricky because they vary a lot. I would say that the average claim is about $1,000 to $2,000 would be rough. Parts have gone up a lot, significantly, and they might continue to increase with tariffs and different things happening around the world. Essentially, we pay MSRP for parts, so we're going to pay basically what the manufacturer would sell the part for. So we're not giving you less or undercutting you on parts. We're paying a fair amount of money for parts. Labor, we pay book time, so we pay fair labor there as well. So everything kind of lines up with the industry standard, but progressively over time, we're seeing parts increase. We're seeing things get more expensive, but that's also partially due to new technology, right? So we're switching from mechanical actuation to electronic, and when you go that route, you have to see an increase because electronic parts cost more. Power steering used to be, hydraulic rack and pinions, and now everything's going to electric and things like that. Well, when you're dealing with those kind of parts, you don't want to use, like, for example, if it's a module, you don't want to use an aftermarket part because there's platinum and iridium and high dollar metals inside of that allow for less conductive transfer of data. For example, on a high-speed CAN bus, you need that data to move really, really fast. Well, if you use that part, will it work? Yeah, but it's not going to travel along the CAN bus as fast. And so that might create problems down the road. We don't want you to have problems. So we would just rather get that OE part into your hands. But that's partially the reason for the cost, is because technology is advancing. Cars have high-tech cameras in them now. They have all kinds of sensors and things that they didn't have. Computers. There's tons and tons of computers in cars now that read data all the time. So that stuff's going to increase the amount of repairs.
So working on the old Ford in my backyard back in the 60s and 70s is really not doable anymore.
Yeah, you're not going to have mechanical fuel pumps that attach to camshafts. So that stuff's changed. Yeah, they've actually went to like a direct. So you have two fuel pumps in cars now. You have a lift pump that gets you to a high pressure pump, and then it injects, sometimes 2,000 psi worth of pressure because it's going directly into the combustion chamber. Well, that stuff's expensive, right? Those high pressure pumps are super expensive, and so that kind of stuff, which brings us better gas mileage, brings us longer term lifespans on some things, cost a lot more money.
Wow. Well, Jeff, it's been tremendous information. Ascent Administration has been a tremendous partner of ours on the warranty side for several years now. The team over at Ascent has been great, from the onboarding team to the claims team. Everything has been worked very smoothly. I want to congratulate you and the team on what you guys have built and put together over there. We are so happy to be a partner with you in selling the warranties that you guys offer. We want to make sure that our audience understands that as you get to know us from the front end side of selling the warranties, we want to make sure that you understand that Jeff is here in order to make sure that once that warranty is sold, that we're here in order to help you service that warranty on the back end. There are times when claims are going to be denied, but as you heard Jeff say earlier, they're there to find a way in order to make that warranty work for you within the terms and conditions that the warranty is laid out. So they're there in order to find a way in order to get that customer taken care of and that approval done for you. So Jeff, once again, I want to thank you for your time today. Thank you for everyone that has joined us here. Is there anything that you want to say in closing that before we sign off here?
Sure. I know that a lot of people have misconceptions with warranties, and depending on your overall experience in the business and how many warranty companies you've had to deal with, you might have a sour taste in your mouth for them. But I can tell you that they're not all bad, right? And so there's ones out there that truly, genuinely care about helping the customer. They're passionate about their field and about their job. And I believe that we have built this environment around passionate people that really, truly care. And so in our minds, we're taking care of people. We're helping customers every day to make sure that when that time does happen and their car does fail, they're not scared on the side of the road by themselves. They got us. We're going to help them with roadside. We're going to get them back in their car. We're going to make sure they're taken care of, get them a rental. And so we take pride in that. And so I guess that's the last thing that I would have to say is that we actually do care about our jobs here. We care about the company. We care about the customer. And we also care about the repair shop. So we want to make sure that you guys have a good experience as well. So that sour taste starts to leave your mouth a little bit.
Well, that is a great way to wrap it up. So Ascent Administration, not represented by race car drivers or rap stars or actors, but represented by real people who care about the customer and want to make sure that they get it taken care of. Jeff, thanks for your time today. And join us next week. We'll be here 1 week from today, noon Eastern. Michael Sosa from Head Start Warranty Group, his claims administrator, a little bit of a different perspective. I think you're going to hear much of the same information, but a different take on the way that Head Start does it. So join us next week for another episode of the Warranty Whisperer. And Jeff, thanks for your time. Thank you for everybody that has joined us today.
Thank you.